Shalom. Call Halola Yahweh by Shema Shah, which means all praises to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people in the world ignorantly call God, by Hashem, and the name of Yahweh Shah, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who you people in the world ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Once again, the true names of the Heavenly Father and the Son is Yahweh by Shema Shah. Shalom also to you brothers, you Akim that's pushing and spreading this word throughout the four corners of the earth, who's also uplifting the names Yahweh by Shemel Shah. Shalom once again to you Akim, as well. Shalom to you Israelite foreigners, the speckled bird, man, woman, and child, whose bloodline traces back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all forefathers. Though you may look like the heathen nations just scattered amongst which the heathen nations are the nations as you see on this chart, starting from 2 on down. Those are the heathen nations. Also, if your lineage goes back to these people, as I'm about to pull on this chart, through the man, and if your spirit bear witness with this word, this truth, and you can receive it to the speckled bird, man, woman, and child. This does apply to you. You are Israelites. Though once again, you might come looking like the heathen due to the scattering of these people on this chart. So once again, you will have Israelites that look like the heathen, but they're indeed Israelites because they're under the curses of Deuteronomy 28 to 15 verse on down. Their spirit bear witness with this word that they are the sons and daughters of Yahweh Bashemel Shah. And once again, their lineage goes back to these people through the man. To you few Akwaf, you few Israelite sisters that do listen and learn, Shalom. To the elect of the nation of Israel, wherever you may be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, whose words going out to, Shalom to you as well. To you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you combine, consist to make up the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the Hebrew Israelites, the chosen people of the Most High Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Once again, Yahweh Shah. And I'm just gonna play this clip right here because you have what's going on in Seattle if you haven't heard.
Several blocks of one neighborhood were shut down in order for protesters to hold demonstrations against racial injustice and police brutality. The police there vacated the precinct. It's a situation that has drawn considerable criticism from President Trump. Joining us now is Seattle Police Chief Carmen Best. Good morning to you, Chief.
Good morning, Margaret. Thank you so much for having me here.
I want to talk about what's happening in your city, but first off, I want to give you a chance to respond to what you just heard the two senators talking about, which is how you do your job. What do you think of these proposals?
Well, I can tell you, Margaret, I think all the time about how we might improve policing and what we're experiencing in the field every day. I absolutely believe in accountability, but I think we've moved away from using the word reform. We were under a consent decree in the Seattle Police Department for almost a decade. We followed every rule and everything that was asked of us to do.
That was the Justice Department looking at whether there was a pattern or practice of bias in policing. That's what you're referring to.
Yes, and that's what the consent decree is. And essentially, they laid out a roadmap and a game plan for us to follow while they reviewed us with the federal monitor. But what I believe, especially after I was at a march yesterday, or the day before yesterday, with Black Lives Matter, and I was looking at the 60,000 people that were there, signs saying, defund the police, stop police brutality, no qualified immunity. And there were thousands of people carrying those particular signs. And I just realized it was a moment, an epiphany, that this is a pivotal moment in history. We are going to move in a different direction, and policing will never be the same as it was before.
What do you think specifically of reducing immunity?
Well, I think that's really a conversation for the politicians and the judicial people to have about how that works and what that looks like. I think there are various iterations that have been proposed, and I think that is a better discussion in that arena. But I do believe that the considerations of the public need to be infused in whatever that outcome is.
Okay.
So I would have to defer to that as a better forum to have that discussion. I can say...
Sorry, let me just take a real quick break here because I want to talk to you and give you time to explain what is going on in Seattle right now. Let's take that commercial break and continue the conversation with Police Chief Best in our next half hour. Welcome Welcome back to Face the Nation. We want to continue our conversation with Seattle Police Chief Carmen Best. Chief, thank you for staying with us. There's a lot of focus on your city. Republican lawmakers have called this 6-block area that the police had left and that protesters are occupying. They're saying it's like a war zone, that warlords are running rampant. The president himself has said domestic terrorists have taken it over. You're the police chief. What is happening in this so-called Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone?
Well, there are people who have occupied the area. My understanding is they've actually changed the name to the Capitol Hill Occupied Protest area. There are a lot of folks there, a lot of differing objectives and agendas, people who have congregated into the area. One of our real challenges there is trying to determine who is a leader or an influencer that seems to change daily. I know that many of our city officials and others are trying to establish some sort of communication with someone who can give us some direction about what the intent is and how we might move forward.
So I had read reports in the Wall Street Journal and elsewhere that there were negotiations underway with Black Lives Matter who were saying they didn't want to hand over control until funding to the police was cut. You're saying it's actually not that clear of a negotiation. How long will this last?
Yeah, those are great questions. I wish I had the answer to how long it might last. I can tell you that we want to move it forward as quickly and efficiently as possible. But my concern as a police chief, besides that I want to be back in our precinct doing the work, is that we don't want anyone there to be harmed. We don't want this to be something that devolves into a forced situation. So we're really trying to take a methodical, practical approach to reach a resolution where everyone gets out of here safely.
And that's not gonna happen. Okay? So what you have here, as you saw in the video, what you have going on in Seattle, which I didn't even know was going on, but I kept hearing about Seattle. So I looked into it, and you see this. Basically, you have they're using Black Lives Matter to spearhead to the chaos that's going on. So Esau Edom, who is a so-called white man, okay, as I'm about to get, okay, he has an agenda. He wants to make you. He's trying to demonize you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Okay, this is what he's doing, and he's using Black Lives Matter, which is ran by him. Okay, it's funded by him. Okay, he's using that, to an advantage. Okay, and what you got going on in Seattle? You got what they call they got a section called you got a warlord. They call his name, I think, is Roz the King, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And he's calling 6 blocks, basically 6 blocks. They run 6 blocks of that city, a neighborhood, and they're let me just get the word autonomous. It says of a country or region having the freedom to govern itself or control its own affairs. And that's what they're doing. They're basically saying no police here. So they basically overthrew the police precinct in that neighborhood. So the police is no longer within that block. And they're now demanding, different things, food and all these other things. They got basically demands. So basically that neighborhood, that block, the Chaz, the Capitol Hill Automation Zone, basically they're their own, country, basically, within this country. Okay? So to them, the laws of America, the laws and rules, it don't matter. They have their own laws and rules. Okay? And as you saw, one of the things that they demanded, okay, in the Chaz is that the police be defunded, which you're seeing, across the nation right now. And now these leaders, these governors or these governors and all that, they're now complying with that. They're okay with defunding the police, which at the end of the day, this is all set up. Okay, this is all the elites, the wicked elites who are also Edomites, okay? This is what they want. Order out of chaos, okay? And most likely that chief in Seattle and all over, they were given orders to do that, from on high, you know? But we at the end, so let me just get it. And this is beautiful, okay? And I think Minneapolis, they actually are working on defunding their police, if they already haven't. I could be wrong. I have to look more into it. And I know New York, de Blasio, he just cut the police budget by, I think, $1 billion. If it's not $1 billion, if it's $1 million or $1 billion, one of the two. Okay? So this thing is happening. But let me get this real quick. Then you had also another, of course, in Atlanta, you had another so-called black man being killed, by police, which you see what the elites is doing. The elites is trying to create chaos, but they don't understand that the Heavenly Father, which his name is Yahweh, he's using them to do it, just so Yahweh could send Yahweh Shah back in the second coming. Okay, so this is happening. 2 Ezra 9:1 says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, and just look earthquakes up. You have plenty of earthquakes going on. And I bet you there's an earthquake going on as I speak right now. Just look it up. Okay, an earthquake in this country, this region, is happening, and uproars of the people in the world. And this is happening throughout the world, man. Protests is happening. I just seen yesterday in London, the UK, you got the Black Lives Matter, was once again, that's controlled by Esau, Black Lives Matter, okay, versus anti-Black Lives Matter. And the anti-Black Lives Matter, they were mostly Edomites. And even within Black Lives Matter is mostly Edomites. Because you saw in that clip, you saw mostly Edomites in that autonomous zone, You had Jake in there too, but it was mostly Edomites, okay? And the anti-Black Lives Matter was going against the Black Lives Matter. They were trying to still take down a monument, a demonic racist monument, and the Edomites wasn't having it, so they tried to guard it. So they was going back and forth. They was fighting each other, okay? So you seeing uproars of the people all throughout the world, but now it's hitting home. Now it's here in America, because people have always said that's not going to happen in America. If it happens in America, they're going to get checked. Okay. It says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And I bring this out all the time, and I'm going to keep bringing it out. 2 Ezra 6 and 9. Actually 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the part and the son of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And this is what we're witnessing, the end of you Edomites' world, man. That's why your statues are being toppled down all of a sudden. This is why you're being called out on racism, okay? What you don't like to talk about, you like to avoid, or you try to shake off. This is why, okay, you got people starting to just don't give a damn about the police, which I'm about to get that scripture in 2 Ezra the 15th chapter, because we at the end of your system. This is why all this is happening, okay? You saying like 2020, man, 2020 is abnormal, okay? We're seeing biblical, events happening in 2020, like these people like to say. Man, you got people saying, man, 2020 is the worst year. Okay, yeah, it's the worst year because the Lord's getting ready to come back. He's getting ready to take you Edomites out of power, man. Okay? And we know you see it too. That's why you see them Edomites in that clip I was talking about. I seen it yesterday. That's why they guarding this. They know what them statues being torn down means. Okay? That's their history right there. They take pride in that history and it's being torn down. So what you think they know? They know that this is the end of their rulership. This is the end of them being in power. This is the end of their influence. This is the end of them, ruling, you know, which I already said. But anyway, you know, it's just the end of Esau. Okay, the Lord is. Let me actually get Isaiah 19. This is what's happening right now. This is Isaiah 19:2. Because I say you see a lot of Edomites, okay, on both sides. It's mostly Edomites. And I will set Egyptians against Egyptians, you Edomites. And they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor. City against city and kingdom against kingdom. Okay? This is what you're seeing. City against city, kingdom against kingdom, man. Okay? Here it is. You got over on the East Coast, you know, it's chill. But then you look on the West Coast, you got automation zones and shit. Defunded police departments. Okay? What you think is going to come with defunded police departments? Okay? Murder, man. Not murder. Not just murder. People going, it's going to say in the second measure. But let me get the third verse. It says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. And that's what's happened. The spirit of Egypt has failed, man. We're just talking about America, man. That's why these people are losing it, man. Okay? With the entertainment, the sports, the food, you know, the jobs they were working, which they no longer have. All that was just to keep you distracted from the fact that you are a slave. Okay? And now that all that's been taken away, that's been stripped from these people, now they just have to deal with reality. And that's what these people don't want to deal with. So now that they have to deal with reality, now they're spazzing out. Okay? This is why you're seeing the divorce rate at an all-time high. This is why you're seeing the depression, you know, suicide rate at an all-time high. Because the spirit of Egypt is failing in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards, man. Okay? And this is what these people are doing. But it's also you elites, because you elites, your witchcraft ain't working no more. Everybody's seeing, okay, through these staged events, everybody's seeing there's a bigger agenda behind it. You know? That's because that power that was given to you through Satan, you elites I'm talking about, which the Most High controls Satan. He controls both good and evil. It's failing you. The Lord's getting ready to take you out of power. That's why it's failing you. Okay? And you elites are seeking as well for a sign. You're seeking, you know, a way out of what's about to come to you. Judgment to your people, to your kingdom. Okay? Second Ezra 15, and I'm going to get 14. Second Ezra 15 and 14 says, woe to the world, because this is going, Jacob's trouble is going to be worldwide, as you see now. Okay? And them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Just like it sounds similar to what it said in Isaiah the 19th chapter. Okay? That's race wars. Okay? It says, and class wars, food wars. That's what you're seeing. Okay, you also, what you're witnessing within that automation zone, by the way, is basically the lower class against, you know, the higher authorities. That's just going to say. For there shall be sedition among men, which sedition means to what? I'm going to just get it. I usually don't get it, but I'm going to get it anyway. Sedition. Sedition, conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. And that's what they're doing. Okay? And what they're doing is going to spread throughout the whole US of A. Okay? It's going to happen. Okay? You got all these people out of work, and now they're saying millions of people ain't going back to work. And the bill's going to keep coming. So when these people start losing, I keep saying, when these people start losing everything, okay, they're going to be right out there with them people. You're going to see more automation zones throughout America, man. Whether you believe it or not. Because it's happening now. You know? Second Ezra 15 and 14, or I'm going to start 16 where I left off. It says, for there shall be sedition to rebel against what? A higher authority or monarch, like you see them doing. Among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings, nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in power. They don't give a shit about what the police officers tell them to do no more. You know? They don't care about what Donald Trump says, because Donald Trump now talking about what? Ushering in the military. Okay? And this is what they want. They want to find an excuse to usher in martial law. And this is that perfect, scenario. Okay? Says, and also, you got the coronavirus, the so-called coronavirus. They saying that's spiking up again. So you seeing what they're doing. Everything is lining up. Okay? They shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in power. And that's what they're doing in the automation zone. This is what they were doing in the protest, on the rioting and looting before the automation zone. Okay? So don't be surprised when you start seeing more and more of these pop up, man. And like I said, you got them now defunding and talking about defunding the police, man. So what you think is gonna happen when there's no more police? And another thing I forgot about the automation zone in Seattle. It's been said that they a lot of them business owners that were running, business within that block that's being controlled by them. They're extorting those businesses. They're being extorted by them. I also didn't get to watch another. It was another video on how they were dividing. It had something to do with farms, but they're doing a lot of shit within that automation zone. Okay, so they're taking actions to their own hands, man. They're not regarding what the U.S. government got to say, and this is going to increase throughout the country as the days go on, as people get more desperate and broke. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And why is that? Because martial law will be declared, and this is that perfect scenario to do it, man. Okay, because now what they're doing is they're making the police, your average everyday police department, look like they can't handle the situation anymore. So they're saying, you know what? Since they can't handle it, let's get rid of them. Okay, and we're going to bring in, the big dogs. We're going to bring in the big guns. We're going to bring in the troops, the UN troops, the blue helmets. And that's what you don't want, man. Because once the blue helmets come in, they're going to be ravishing the women, okay? Putting the kids to death, ravishing the kids, the men. They're going to be doing all types of madness, man. Okay? But this is what's coming. And it's already playing out with this automation zone. Okay? You can't come within a block, especially for a police officer. Okay? So how much more when martial law is declared? You but I believe this is going to spread. Okay? It's going to get way worse. Especially when people start losing everything that they got. Because people still got some sort of comfort with these things that they have. But when they start losing that, then it's gonna be on. Okay? For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. And this is why this is happening. Because you people have walked in great pride. You strive against Yahweh Shema Shah. You didn't consider Yahweh Shema Shah. Okay? So now the Lord is gonna bring these cities down. He's doing that. Especially you Edomites. Because you Edomites are the most proudest nation of people on the planet Earth. So the Lord's going to shut that down now. It says, the houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And another thing about that is, if they got that whole block, controlled, that whole neighborhood, and no police is allowed, most likely the truckers that's going to come in, a lot of the truckers that deliver to them that area, they're not going to want to come in that area. So what does that mean? You're going to have a famine within that area. You already have a famine now. This is going to get worse. So eventually all those people that you see, within that zone, even just throughout the world, wherever a famine is happening, when the food start running out, these people, it's going to be everybody for themselves. It's going to be man versus man. Okay? And a lot of them people, they might mob together, they might click up and go against, the weak. It's going to be survival of the fittest out here. It's going to be the strong versus the weak. Okay? So this is what's going to come next. That's what's coming. The kick door, your neighbors kicking your door, whoever, man. Okay? The love of many wax cold. This is the time we in. Okay? But at the end of the day, this is the end of you Edomites rulership. Okay? So I'm gonna end it right there. I'm not gonna go too far after that. My break time's up. So call hello Allah Yahweh by Shema Shah. Yahweh Ratazat, this was edifying. Baba Gashah, Baba Ball, Baba Ball, Baba Ball, Baba Ha Yapa, Baba Ha Yapa. Shalom to the elect. And you few Israelites that do listen and learn. If you an Israelite, you still got the chance to repent. If you don't repent, you're just going to be destroyed in this destruction. Because it's right here. You know? Shalom.